It was about 3 weeks ago when we raced the 1987 NASCAR Cup Series cars around Daytona for the Daytona 500. Here this week, we're going back a little bit further in time. It is the 1979 Lotus, and it'll be taken around one of the more legendary U.S. circuits, the Long Beach circuit here in Long Beach, California. Good evening, everybody. My name is Frank Marchese. Thank you very much for making us a part of your evening here on ESPN. Alongside me in the booth, a Formula One fanatic, I would say, Sam Cooper Bennett. Sam, welcome to your first Majors broadcast.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here, and oh my God, goodness me, and what a time to be here right now. I am a die-hard Formula One fan, and what a perfect place to have the Lotus 79s on than the absolute classic Long Beach circuit. And yeah, we're going to lay him down tonight and burn some rubber, and we're going to see a lot of wall hits, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, this is a very tightly confined racetrack. I believe when the E-Formula Series was here, Jake and I kind of described it as the Monaco of the United States, and it's very apropos. It's a street circuit. Walls are very, very close to the track. It's a very difficult racetrack to get around here.
Yeah, minus the elevation changes and the things like that. But you could kind of say that Belle Isle is the modern-day Monaco of
Yes.
The United States. But this one has a lot more history to it. Obviously, it goes right back to the 70s. It's just that sort of racetrack which separated the men from the boys back then. Obviously, they stopped racing it in the 80s and they started going to stupid places like Detroit and Dallas. But obviously, this one, like I said, has a lot of history and is just awesome to watch. And for those that have never seen Formula One cars of this caliber on this street circuit, my goodness, you are in for a treat tonight.
You absolutely are. And as we get through the last 10 minutes of this practice session here, let's take a look at the point standings after 2 rounds of the 2021 Major Series. Ethan Osowski right now leading the points by a mere 5 points over David Gargaro Jr., who finished second place at Daytona. Justin Garrick, Brian Halleck tied for third with 37 points. Chris Sherburne and the Daytona 500 winner, Joshua Mertz, in the top 6 as well. A lot of guys, I believe 81 drivers have scored points here. And because this series is so expansive, a lot of the guys that you're seeing on the point standings as it trickles through right now, you haven't seen yet here on ESPN, and good chance we're going to see some new faces here tonight.
Yeah, and we've got the regular names here. We've got Ethan Osowski, who's been ever present at the front since the first race back at the Daytona Road Course. You've got Gregory Hectors, Chris Sherburne, Maurice Gamillion, Ozzie Milwain. Those guys are the guys to watch here. Michael Broomhead, now he had a fantastic race in the 2.4 hours of Daytona. Now missed the Daytona 500, but is back again here at Long Beach, and let's see if he can put that bad luck he had at Daytona behind him and get a good result here tonight.
And that's certainly going to be what he's looking for as we run down this long, expansive list of the point standings. 81 drivers have clocked in points here in the Major Series American Sportsman Division here in 2021. But let's start to show you some of the track as we see Gregory Hectus in the 187 taking his run around here, going into one of the more difficult places on the racetrack, coming out towards that big parking structure at the top of that little hill there. That's a very difficult place around this racetrack. It's very, very bumpy there. The car wants to come around, so you have to wait, even though that exit is so wide and very inviting.
Now, this is not the classic Long Beach circuit. Obviously, it's very different now. It was back in the 70s, but you can still see it is very treacherous going around these corners, and especially this one he is coming up to right now. This is going to be the one that makes all the difference here tonight, Frank. That hairpin always catching people out.
Now, let's ride on board with Gregory Hectus as he navigates this Long Beach circuit here. coming through this long, sweeping right-hander up to a very heavy braking zone down here in turn one. Just want to clip that curb, and then comes up to one of the more famous parts of this track, the water fountain. Comes around there very, very slowly. Want to make that entry and exit as straight as possible. This is the corner that we picked him up on here. You can see how much the car bounces and how wide it wants to go. On exit, another braking zone into Tecate corner here. Very wide, very loose is Gregory Hectus. And we're going to be seeing that from guys a lot here tonight. Guys just getting on the power a tad bit too early.
Yeah, as Brian Shuck goes for a spin, and also David Gargaro goes for a spin. So a lot of people are struggling to find the best line and the best grip around here. But I'm sure we've seen it on the past. We've already been to a road course with these guys. They will get it sorted out pretty quickly. And around here, yeah, this is a bigger challenge than Daytona, but I'm pretty sure they'll figure it out.
Absolutely is. We are one of the, well, this is the first split series that these guys have had this year. Now, the International Series and the Oceanic Series have been at Daytona for both of those races. And I believe, I do apologize, I thought I had it saved somewhere and I didn't. But the Oceanic Series, the European Series, and the American Series break off from each other for the first time this year. The Oceanic Series running the 2 hours at Bathurst last night. The European Series running the Masters of Formula One race at Zolder not that long ago. So getting a completely different look. Older cars, old racetrack. Very, very nice grouping here this past week, going to both Bathurst, Zolder, and now here to Long Beach.
Yeah, and it's a good mixture of vehicles, and this being the aptly named wild card round of the series. The drivers are free to run whatever they want, and depending on if they want to wake up at a silly time and go to Bathurst, then they can do. If they want to wake up really early and go to Zolder, then they can do. And obviously, this one being the natural series, they can come and run this one. But I did watch the Masters of Formula 3 at Zolder earlier on Radion TV. Very much enjoyable, and I'm pretty sure these guys are definitely going to do the same thing here tonight.
Yeah, and then watched a little bit of the Oceanic race as well, or the Asiana race as well at Bathurst. They put on one heck of a show as well, and hoping that this being the last series of the weekend, there's a couple guys getting into trouble there in the last sector. As this race goes on, I'm sure we're going to get one hell of a show, just the same way the first two series put on.
Absolutely, as we're looking at Joey Haynes making his way through the corner now. He won at Daytona. Again, another road course specialist in that 338 machine, and going to be looking to get another win here tonight. Obviously, didn't do so well last time out in the Daytona 500. That just proves that we do have our separation of oval specialist and road course specialist. Joey Haynes being the latter.
Yeah, and next race we go to is going to be one of the oval races. I believe it's the Musket 250 is going to be our next run. That will be in the Touring Modifieds at New Hampshire. So that is going to be a very fun event. That coming up on April 11th. But while we still have a couple of minutes here before the qualifying session begins, let's take a look at what's coming up here on ESPN. For those of you who are interested, coming up tomorrow night will be the Rowdy Energy Cup Series, round number 5 from Phoenix Raceway. That race will start at 8:20 p.m. Eastern Time.
I'll try and be awake for that one.
Both Sam and I will be in the booth for that one. And then for the first time, we're going to have a double dip on Tuesday. The UK Sim Racing's MX5 Pro Series will open up their season at Bathurst. That will be at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Also, then the nightcap for Tuesday night will be the Western States Racing League from the Milwaukee Mile, a racetrack that's known for very tight racing, very close racing, and a little bit of argy-bargy racing as well. That race will be at 10:05 p.m. Eastern Time. And then on Wednesday, will be the Sim Racers Edge Alpha Series. That will be at Homestead Miami Speedway, round 6 of the season, as we see the 338 go around coming out of turn 1. Have 40 seconds left here in this practice session, and then it's going to start getting down to the nitty-gritty as we get set for qualifying. Bryson Shute, who is not on track right now in the 15, the only driver to put it into the 1 minute 10 second bracket of the 27 drivers that have taken time in this session.
Absolutely, and while we've got a couple of minutes left in the practice session, just want to give a quick shout out to the sponsors of this channel. One of them is, first of all, is Diecast Nuts. Diecast Nuts is .com is a community site for people who love diecasts. Whether you want to post your collection, view other members' collections, or buy or trade to add to your collection, diecastnuts.com is the #1 place to go. Other automotive memorabilia is available as well at diecastnuts.com. That's nuts with a Z at diecastnuts.com, or find them on Facebook by searching Diecast Nuts. And the other one is Rocket Racing Setups. Rocket Racing Setups is quickly becoming one of the lead setup builders for the iRacing community. If you need a proven race winner for your league or your run in the official season championship, Rocket Racing Setups is where you need to go. Rocket Racing Setups offers both dirt and asphalt setups, along with setup adjustment guides and precise fuel sheets. With the ability to request setups and one-on-one coaching if you like to build your own, Rocket Racing Setups is really difficult to beat for price. If you're ready to take your sim experience to the next level, head over to rocketracingsetups.com today.
And we watch Robert Deloche from Forge Racing.
I had to do that.
Yeah, there you go. Perfectly fine. We're already a minute down here in this qualifying session. These guys are going to get 2 laps here to qualify solo, and we had brought up the comparison to Monaco earlier on. This is a track where you need to be up front if you want the best chance at taking home a victory.
Absolutely, and you need to get your lines right as well. The corners are not very forgiving, and that's the comparison that we are making to Monaco here. If you get your line wrong going into a corner, as we're still looking at, I'm looking at Jason McSparrow now. He's taking a very normal line going through the corner, and if you get that wrong, if you go offline just once and hit that wall, it's game over.
Down Shoreline Drive, and that's one of the ways as we see McSparrow lock up a little bit going into the last couple of corners here, this last section as we head back to towards the start-finish straight. That's going to be one of the very key things. It's going to be self-preservation tonight. Take one of those access roads if you need to, instead of trying to break yourself into one of these corners. They do have one fast repair available tonight, so you do have a little bit of a buffer. However, you want to use that as late as possible if you use it at all.
I think I remember James Hinchcliffe having a bit of an accident here the one time. He overdid it going into one of the corners and went straight on and couldn't get out again. He had to retire the car. So if you go down one of those access roads, as McSparrow having a horrible time out on track right now. He's just damaged that suspension. The wall smacked it pretty hard.
There is the 119, and you can see a little bit of left front wing damage as David Gargaro Jr. completes his first lap. Gargaro Jr. runner-up in the point standings as it sits right now in that number 42 for Vengeance Motorsports. Also the runner-up at the Daytona 500 3 weeks ago, finishing that race on his side in the infield. Would love to finish this race right side up, as boy, he's getting everything he can out of that number 42 right now.
Joseph Homan on the pole right now, though, as he's on his second lap. Michael Broomhead going purple in the last 2 sectors, and Broomhead to the pole, the Canadian, picking up where he left off at Daytona.
Yep, that's that 54 right there going into turn one, a very heavy braking zone, and that wall that juts right back out at you. Turn one is going to be absolutely wild here off of what is going to be a standing start. Joseph Homan about to go through the last couple of quarters. Jacob Mink is purple in the first and third sectors of this track. Holman might have had a little bit of contact with the wall. You see a little bit of a flip up on the left front wing there. Yep, Mink to pole. As Holman, I believe this lap, oh, it did count a little bit better, could not advance his position. As we'll see, Joey Haynes is the next car coming out of that very tight hairpin. At the back end of this racetrack, Haynes, personal bests all through the lap. That will move him up into fifth. I believe Brian Halleck is the next one to come across. He is. He jumps up into the seventh position. Gustavo Sanfarani, pardon me. I had realized I had been calling him Sanfarani the entire race at Daytona, and then I was filling out all of this stuff. I realized my mistake. As we see Spencer Todd about to complete his lap. You can just see how bumpy this racetrack is. And Todd, personal best, will stay in the third position. As these guys continue to circulate the racetrack, Nathan Medina, currently in the fifth position, jumps up to third after going quickest of all in the first sector. Matt Gelder in the 69 on a quick lap. He's in 21st. He will jump up into 19th position. As we still have about 4.25 minutes left, and that right there from Gelder is exactly what you don't want to be doing. Ran too hot into turn one, nosed it into the wall.
Yeah, and he's just giving it up right there. He's going to bring it back to pit row right now. Just looking at one of the drivers that actually took part in the Zolder race earlier, Adrian Stefan. He's just on his out lap, I think. He's possibly on his fast lap. He's actually
on his
running. He's running the Lotus colours here tonight, the classic ones, but not in the same way that you'd think he would.
Yep, and that is what this car would have looked like. I don't believe that those are. Yeah, no, those are not the actual sponsors on that car. Very, very witty way of doing it.
Very creative.
As he comes across the line to take part in his first lap around the circuit. Look at David Gargaro Jr. in the 14th position. He's coming through the hairpin right now. You get this long shot down the front straightaway before it turns into a front corner, and Gargaro will haul it off and stop after not being able to better his time on that lap. Chris Sherburne in the 135 for Sector 5.
Too many fives.
About to complete his second lap. Chris Sherburne, Adrian Stefan again, as you'd mentioned before, on a flyer as well. 135.
Chris Sherburne.
Yep, Sherburne in a second.
Yeah, as we go to Adrian Stefan, as he's making his way through the hairpin on his first time lap. Big bounce over the curbs there. Very untidy through the hairpin. Let's see what this is going to do for him, though. He's green all the way through. He's going to put in a
12.5.
That's the one.
Stephen Paulison.
P20.
Stephen Paulison coming in right behind him. Still 1:45 left here in this qualifying session. Paulison right now in the 24th position, who we're riding along with right now. Take a look can see here, I believe, Stefan. Actually, Chris Sherburne is the closest one to completing a lap. Take a look on board here and just see how tight this final chicane is. You have to take it really wide if you do not want to fall victim to that outside wall, and that is going to be the choke point of this racetrack here all night long. It is going to be incredibly difficult through that section of racetrack.
I believe that's a hairpin, Murray.
I say chicane?
Yeah.
Dadgummit. All right.
I was doing a Martin Brundle correcting,
Stefan crosses the line. Stefan goes personal best in the final sector. Cannot get better than 20th. Only 3 cars out on track. Stefan, Paulison, and Sherburne.
Trevor Vavrosky and Richard McClure not taking times yet. They haven't even been out on track yet, so probably opting to start from pit road or at the back of the field here as Stefan going for a big slide there. Big tail swing there as he comes down towards the hairpin.
Actually, that's towards Tecate,
Oh,
so
well.
now it's one-on-one. Now 1 for 1. You
yeah,
can
yeah.
see the left front damage on the 56 of Stefan. And that will do it for this qualifying session. And we will take a look now at the grid for round number 3 of the 2021 Major Series American Sportsman Division. And on pole will be Spencer Todd with a 111.126. He takes the pole away from Jacob Mink by 0.143. That is your first row. Ethan Osowski, the points leader, and Ozzie Milwane will make up row number 2. Row 3 will be Bryson Shute and Justin Garrick. Row 4 goes to Nathan Medina and Joey Haynes. Row 5 to Michael Broomhead and Robert Gambill. Joseph Homan and Brian Halleck will make up row number 6, with row 7 going to Gregory Hectus and David Gargaro Jr.
Yeah, Gustavo Cianfrani goes off in P15. He'll be joined on that row by Morris Gamillion. 17th and 18th will be Gerard Gilbert and Rob Deloach. 19th and 20th, the 10th row, will be Robert Covey and Adrian Stefan in that funny Lotus scheme. Row 11 will be Matt Gelder and Stephen Paulison. Row 12 will be Greg McAnini and Chris Sherburne. Next row will be Julian Mookie and Jason McSparron. Rob Courtney and Trevor Vavrosky make up 27th and 28th in the starting shotgun. On the field here at Long Beach is Richie McClure, making 29 drivers here at Long Beach as they all get ready to grid up here at this track. And it's a standing start, and as we all know, and all sadly, we all remember, we lost the great man that was Murray Walker yesterday. So we will pay tribute to him here tonight as we get ready to go racing for 81 laps here at Long Beach, as we pay tribute to the great man himself, Murray Walker. They are gridding. We are waiting for the last drivers to line up on the field. As we're looking at Spencer Todd right now, ready to go. And go, go, go! We are racing here at Long Beach, 81 laps. Going down towards turn 1, and it's a big gaggle of cars all the way down towards turn 1. And we are racing here at Long Beach. Rest in peace, Murray Walker.
Beautifully done. Heading into turn 1, though, getting very, very tight at a very, very tight section of racetrack. As we head through, there goes the 15 of Bryson Shute is around, and that is not one of the places where you want to be, and all over the place we have issues happening.
Yeah, there is cars littered everywhere, and it's down through the fountain section. Everybody getting piled up, and it's not the best place to be being turned around there. A lot of cars involved in that one, Frank.
You know, a lot of cars having to slow down and stop to avoid hitting the 15 as we look back up towards the front of this field. Spencer Todd has gotten away in that number 24, the 47 of Jacob Mink right behind him. Ozzie Milwane making up the third position as we complete lap 1 of 81 here at Long Beach.
My timing and scoring is just lit up with light blue and red right now. We're seeing drivers go off all over the place. I've just seen an incident with Ethan Ozowski going through the right-hander, and all hell breaking loose on this first couple of laps here, Frank, and people just trying to get settled down as Ozowski completely getting the hairpin run at the end of the first lap.
Yeah, we'll take a look. We will go back and take a look at everything that's happened here. Justin Garrick in the number 31, right behind Osowski in the race lead for high class. And right now, these guys have gotten very spread out very, very quickly. The closest battle on track right now is between Michael Broomhead in the number 54 and Nathan Medina right in front of him. This right here is the closest battle for position on track right now in the battle for 6th, as we see Medina, Broomhead, and that's Joey Haynes right behind him in the 338.
Yeah, now this is going to be important for Michael Broomhead. He needs to be patient here. Coming through this last part of the circuit, he needs to try and get a good slingshot out of the hairpin right on the rear wing of Medina, coming out of the hairpin. Almost spins him round there, but he's going to get a good run coming down towards turn 1. Let's see if he can do anything about it, as they are literally just slipstreaming through this long right-hander down towards turn 1. Broomhead not really close enough to do anything about it right now.
Joseph Holman, however, is close enough to do something with Robert Gambill in the 48 for Sector 5. He has just lost a position. I believe Nathan Medina has given that spot up to Broomhead, and he has come under fire from Joey Haynes around the outside, and you can just see how low these cars are to the ground, how bumpy this racetrack is. This is going to be something that's going to wreak havoc all night long.
Yeah, and Haynes losing a lot of ground on Broomhead because of that now, and he's got Medina right behind him, as Homan is right on the back of Medina now, and Cianferrani is right on the back of these guys as well. He's had a pretty good start up to 11th now.
You can see that, however, on the back of Cianferrani's number 29, remember he was driving the number 6 at Daytona as the Racing for John tribute, back with his number 29. Gets around the long way from Robert Gambill in the 48. Nice move there for Cianferrani to get himself into the top 10. Gambill, however, not going to give it up easily, and now has to as they go through the right-hander.
Well, there was a problem for Homan going through that last section before the hairpin. Just got it completely wrong, and that kind of stacked them both up, and that just left Gambill as easy pickings for Cianferrani. And Ferrani, yeah, like you said, just completely picked him off coming out of the hairpin and down towards turn 1.
It's Gregory Hectus in the 187. He has the 3 of Brian Halleck right in front of him. Right behind him, David Gargaro Jr. and Gerard Gilbert in the 73. These 4 in a battle for the 12th position, as we're starting to see little groups and little packs start to form up here. But we'll go back up to the front here just as we get into the hairpin. Spencer Todd and Jacob Mink are about as close as they have been as Mink catches the wall coming out of the hairpin.
Yeah, and he doesn't want to do that too often. These cars are built to be tough, but you can't hit that wall too very often if you're trying to battle for the lead as well. Mink very lucky to be able to keep that in a straight line. Spencer Todd's teammate, Ozzie Milwane, not too far behind either. He's got Ethan Ozowski still keeping him honest there in P4.
There is Ozzie Milwane in the 113. Ethan Ozowski in the 033 for Forge Racing Sport behind him. Now there are 2 Forge Racing Sport teams. There's Forge Racing Sport 1 and Forge Racing Sport 2. Ethan Ozowski, the points leader for Forge Racing Sport 1. As Justin Garrick keeping him honest. So we have 2 high-class cars up here at the front, as there was a spin for the 033. That was Osowski.
Yeah, and Ozowski's been threatening that for the last couple of laps now. He is around, and he was looking loose coming through the corners before, and unfortunately it's come back to bite him this time around as he goes around, and then that was actually Matt Gelder he got into, who had an accident before that.
Yep, and we're taking a look here As, Gelder was just in the absolute worst place as Osowski was coming off of that corner. Brian Halleck has also had a little bit of an issue in that number 3. So we're seeing a lot of guys now starting to light up as Ethan Osowski has hit pit road now. In that 033, there he is on screen. And fortunately for him, though, he does have a fast repair, as does the entire field. So now that spreads out the top 3, and Jacob Mink for high class really performing well. I think this is the first time we've seen him in this split for the American Sportsman division. Mink putting on one heck of a show here tonight.
Yeah, Mink really keeping Spencer Todd honest, as he has done since the drop of the green flag. And look at the slide he came in, coming into the hairpin right there, really trying to get to the back of that 24 machine. Just seems a bit too over anxious going into the hairpin though.
Yep, that hairpin is a case of you have to be patient if you want to be quick. Let's take a look as we work lap 7 here. Let's take a look at what happened back on lap 1 going into the fountain section. As we take a look high above, and we will see here in a moment, there is the 15, and just everyone stacking up behind, running into each other, a lot of wings being damaged, and the 15 unfortunately just left there.
Yeah, and it's a case of just one car spins and everybody just piles in behind him. And it's unfortunate for Shoot there, as yeah, it's just a concertina effect of like one person going around and just everybody just piling in right there. And unfortunately, Shoot having to fight his way back from the back of the field now.
Speaking of Bryson Shoot, he is back on the racetrack right now in the 28th position, working just his 4th lap of this event. He has taken a fast repair, I do believe, has that number 15, and he's got somebody in front of him who most likely is going to need to take a fast repair in just a moment. And around goes Shoot again and backs it into the wall at Tecate corner just before the movie theater.
Yeah, rear wing damage there, that will take a fast repair. It's not like the Indy cars where they will repair the wing for free. That damage on the back of Shoot's car will take a fast repair, and obviously because he's already burned it, he's going to have to deal with that damage a bit longer now.
Yeah, very similar damage on the man we're seeing on screen right now. That is the 322 of Stephen Paulson. Paulson was in front of Bryson Shoot. As we move on back up towards the front, Jacob Mink has not allowed Spencer Todd an ounce of breathing room.
Now remember, this is a long race. We're only 8 laps in. We're about to start lap 9 of 81 here. So this, if Mink could keep to the back of Todd, even through the pit stops, it'd be very impressive for him in that number 47 as they put a lap on another driver there. I couldn't quite see who that was.
Robert Covey in the 72.
Yeah, that's who it was. As, yeah, if he could keep up this pressure through the pit stops and everything else, I'll be very impressed with that 47.
You can see between these two drivers here, it has been very, very close. However, when Mink has been quicker, he has been quite a bit quicker. Todd getting faster laps by less than 1/10 of a second. Mink, however, is pulling back up to Todd by about 1/10 when he is the quicker car in the run. So take a look back at Ozzie Milwane now. Milwane must have had an issue because he's slipped now almost 3 seconds behind the front pair.
At the same time, he's managed to really get away from Justin Garrick. Garrick back there in P4. Broomhead's fallen off as well. He's in P5. Actually, he's up 4 from where he started. So Broomhead actually having the better start of that top 10. Unless you're Gustavo Gianferrani. It's Gianferrani who's now up to P8 now. He seems to be flying right now around the track.
Gianferrani has that position of Nathan Medina right in front of him in the number 6. The two biggest movers in the race right now are Julian Muskie and Jason McSparren. Both of those drivers up 8 positions. Actually, make that Richard McClure, who's up 9 positions from where he started in that number 84. As I think Robert DeLoche in the 235 might have caught the wall coming out of the hairpin.
Yeah, and he's not the only one. I believe Gregory Hectus has not had a problem. I apologize. It's for some reason the time of scoring is picking up incidents every time they go for a hairpin. I'm not sure why.
We had the same problem in the E-Formula series. SDK is manufacturing incidents here, but that was just a big moment right there for Robert DeLoche, and that puts Adrian Stefan right on him. As a matter of fact, puts him out in front of Robert DeLoche. So a big slide there going into the fountain section cost DeLoche a position.
Now, Stefan has that front wing damage. Not sure if that's going to affect him down the straight here, as DeLoche still able to stay with him, coming to the right-hander here. But it's going to be out of that hairpin and down that main straight there. That that damage on the front wing might hurt Stefan. We'll have to wait and see.
You can see DeLoche, Muskie right behind him. This right here is a battle for the 15th position between these three. Every position counts, but boy, this is a race that is going to get incredibly tiring. You may not be feeling the physical effects of how bumpy this racetrack is, but you'll certainly feel it if you got your force feedback and your wheel turned up high enough. Your shoulders will certainly be aching by the time this race is over.
Yeah, we've had a problem for, actually no, Richard McClure triggering that thing again. I'm going to get caught out by that.
You learn to ignore it, and unfortunately, when you do ignore it, sometimes you miss something that actually happened, as we watched David Gargaro try to hold off Gerard Gilbert in the 73. These two battling for the 13th position. And right now, Gilbert is going to take that 13th position just as they get onto Shoreline Drive.
Yeah, and right in front of them is
Gregory Hectus.
I will get it right. Gilbert is the teammate of Cianfrani, so
yes.
That's why I'm seeing double right here. But yeah, good pass by Gilbert. Now let's see if they can get it to Medina, who's not that far up the road there. He's actually right in front of them, so Medina might be in a bit of trouble here, as Gilbert is looking very sprightly in that number 73 now.
Yeah, Medina just had an issue. We're going to go back and take a look at it here. Medina, well, I guess, and I just got caught by it. I thought he was a lot further. Oh, no, he didn't. He did spin. Medina did spin coming out of the hairpin, caught the back end of that curb and gassed it up when the car was still bouncing. I thought Medina was higher up than he actually was. And I got really tricked because it was Cianfrani who he was ahead of, which is the exact same car for Kinetic Racing. Medina in that. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, problems for Robert Covey coming into the right-hander there just before the hairpin section just went straight on at the corner, and unfortunately going to have a bit of damage on that front wing now.
Take a look at that. This is coming off of Shoreline Drive here. Heavy braking zone has Justin Garrick in front of him, and Covey, yep, you're right, does nail that wall just a little bit. Able to bounce off it and keep going. Not missing anything up front right now. Spencer Todd still out in front of this race, as he has been from the illuminating of the green lights. See, there you go.
Yeah.
Out in front by 0.6 of a second over Jacob Mink. Now this pair have put 4.4 seconds on this driver, the 113 of Ozzy Milway.
Oh, Todd's around! Todd's around on the exit of the hairpin. That's let Jacob Mink up to the lead, and his teammate Ozzy Milway up to second. Big mistake by Spencer Todd.
That was the first mistake Todd has made all race, going into the hairpin. He's got one of the damaged Sector 5 cars in front of him, See if that plays any effect. Nope, just not quite what the 6 of Medina did, but just gave it too much power going over the bumps. The car wasn't settled down. It gripped and spun him right around.
Now, I'm wondering if that might be the tyres starting to burn off. Remember, these Lotus 79s do have the new tyre model on them, so they kind of need to be careful with how these tyres are reacting on these cars. And I'm wondering if Todd, trying to defend from Jacob Mink, might have burned the life off them a bit too early.
And now Mink can coast for a little while here. He now has a 4.5 second lead in that number 47. You could just see how wild these cars can get, as I believe Greg McEnany has had an issue in that 350 for Forge Racing. I believe he's a part of Forge Racing 2.
It was the hairpin glitch.
Yeah, okay. So now we'll take a look at the battle for second here between Ozzy Milwane and Spencer Todd, two teammates for Evolve. So I believe Gamble and Halleck. Nope, they both triggered it. There it is. This is going to be a fun night. As these two, however, are having a very good battle here. This is for the 9th position between these two. Halleck takes a little bit of a peek going into turn 1, just cannot commit to the move. So we'll jump on board with the number 3 of Halleck. Show you just how tight and show you how physical this track can be, especially right here. Down into Tecate Corner. Another part of the track where you really just want to pound the throttle as hard as you can. Wait for that back end to settle down, and that's what a lot of this track is in these cars with how bumpy. This being a street circuit, it's very, very bumpy. Cars, bumps that you won't feel in your street car. However, in these things, you feel every single one of them. And a lot of this race is going to be a waiting game, just waiting for the car to settle down off the bumps.
Yeah, as we're still trying. This race is still trying to settle down. Amid the chaos from lap 1, we're only on lap 16, and they're still racing as if it's lap 81. As we're looking at Adrian, Stefan, and Stefan is driving like he's on the edge, man. He's got that front wing damage on his car. He's literally sliding around every single corner he comes across. He's really putting that car to work tonight.
Adrian Stefan, one of the Oceanic drivers for the Majors Series, and because, as Sam had mentioned earlier on, this is a wild card race. Boy, you can just see how much that car is jumping around. As I believe we may have had a legitimate incident here, as I think it's Spencer Todd. No, it's not. He was falling down my timing. Take a look.
No, but I think Matt Gelder might have had an incident, though.
Yeah, Gelder has had an absolute mare of an evening. He is in pit road right now. Let's take a look and see what happened with Gelder. Gelder in the 69. It's Ethan Osowski right in front of him. Going into turn 1, too hard. Flips it around in the access road. That was the smoke we saw while we were watching Stefan. And I believe he has just called it quits as we go back up to the front of the field. Jacob Mink, he certainly has put it on coast mode. He's lost some time. However, that car not looking nearly as erratic as it was earlier on while he was battling Spencer Todd.
Yeah, he feels like he's had a weight taken off his shoulders right now as he's still holding that lead over Ozzy Milwane and Spencer Todd. But look how close these teammates are as they come out of the hairpin right now. Nose to tail as they come down the main straight now, down towards turn 1. Can Todd get around his teammate, or the under team orders just to hold station for now? I take that back as Todd is going to make a move down towards turn 1. Big dive down towards turn 1. I think Milwane might have just given him that.
I think so, especially with how far off Milwane was coming out of turn 1. That might have been, you are clearly faster. Here, take take my position as we work lap 18 here. From what I can tell, only 3 retirements in this race so far. Matt Gelder in the 69, Bryson Shute, after what we saw on lap 1, came out, ran a couple laps, and then him backing it into the wall, coming through Tecate corner, which we just saw with these 2 teammates for Evolve. He has decided to end his night after that, and Trevor Vavrosky did not partake in qualifying in the number 10, nor did he start the race. So only 2 retirements, 1 did not start here tonight through the first 18 laps of this event.
Yes, we're going to take a look at Jason McSparron here. He's had a problem going towards turn 1. Let's have a quick look. And yeah, McSparron's just gone straight on, just exactly the same as what Matt Gelder did. Difference is he's realised he's got a reverse pedal, reverse gear, sorry.
As McSparron locks it up, gets in a little too hard. Able to turn her around, get her back going. Right now, McSparron running in the 20th position. Ethan Osowski is the next car for position that he has to deal with, and he is right behind him. Not that far off, and Osowski, we saw him spinning, going on to Shoreline Drive earlier on. There you go, there's the word. As these 2 guys battling for what would be the 20th position. Another close battle here. This is 14th and 15th. This is Adrian Stefan and Robert Deloche. Julian Muckey, Muki, pardon me, is not that far behind them either in the 039. Yuki, another one of the Oceanic driver. Whoop, wrong graphic. Yuki, another one of the Oceanic drivers.
Yeah, Muki in the he's had a very quiet race so far tonight in that number 039, but he's holding up pretty well. Just ahead of Richard McClure. Now, I just want to point something out. Ethan Osowski, even though he had that big crash, he still managed to limp it back to pit road and still stay on the lead lap. I think that's pretty impressive from him. He's managed to keep himself in some kind of contention, even though he's almost a lap down.
And the benefit of that is you're right, he's still on the lead lap. However, his fast repair is gone, and part of the reason why he was able to stay on the lead lap is because that wreck had happened so late in the lap that he was able to get that car around and not lose too much time as he heads through the fountain section right now in the 033. Spencer Todd, however, has just put down the fastest lap of the race at a 1:12.09. Not to be outdone, Jacob Mink was only 0.06 of a second slower. So these 2 now are really starting to push it.
Not closing the gap as quickly as he would like, though, as Todd jumps over the turtles going through the right-hander there. He's literally struggling to keep that gap below 4 seconds, and he's probably lamenting that mistake coming out of the hairpin now, because that gap he's struggling to get it down there despite putting the fast laps in. Just can't seem to get any closer to the back of that 47 right now.
Boy, that was Greg McEnany right there on your screen in the 350, going for a slide after hitting the curb, going into the fountain section for Forge Racing. And McEnany really having a tough time here over these last couple laps, is now relegated down to the 22nd position. Stephen Paulison is on the same lap as he is, just behind him. Gregory Hectus, who is running in the 11th position, right behind Paulison, now is going to allow Hectus to go by.
Battle really heating up between Mookie and McClure right now, as they are nose to tail. And It looks like Deloach starting to get away there, but these two really going at it right now as they come into this last section before the hairpin. Yeah, McClure putting Mookie under a lot of pressure now.
And you can see the difference in lines there as these guys try to find the best way to gain time. Robert Deloach had a lot wider of an entry going through that last bit of corners in the final sector. And now that 039 of Mookie trying to just take a peek, let Deloach know he's there. Maybe he can force the 235 into a mistake, as Garrick, I believe, has had an issue. Or has he? No, he has not.
No, he hasn't. Is the hairpin again?
Yeah, it was.
But Garrick down is in P4, having a very quiet race now as it's pretty much settled down between the top 5, unless you're Spencer Todd and Ozzie Milwane. But things are starting to settle down now. The only really big battle going on right now is that battle between McClure and Mookie, and actually McClure has got around Mookie now.
There is the 84 of Richard McClure around the 039. It's a far cry from where they were this time last lap. We saw Mookie almost right on the back of Robert Deloach trying to make a move going into turn 1. Now he's lost a position. Trying to gain it back, though, as we go into turn 1. 84 with the preferred line, and Mookie has to back off.
Looking a bit further forward, I'm looking at a battle here between a battle that was brewing between Gregory Hectus and Nathan Medina. Now Hectus is about a second ahead. Medina is closing that gap as they've just put a lap, I believe, on one of the Forge cars. I couldn't see who that was.
It's the 350 of McEnany.
Yeah, it's, Hectus and Medina gearing up for a bit of a battle here as they come through the hairpin.
This is one of the closer battles. Only a second separate these two. As Medina has had his issues. We've already seen Medina in the 6 around at one point earlier in the race. As we ride on board with the Vengeance Motorsports driver, the number 6 of Medina.
We've had a massive crash here. Gilbert involved and Gamillion involved. Coming off the straight there in towards the last section. Gilbert getting it all wrong and smacks the wall really hard. Gamillion just pretty much nowhere to go.
There is Gerard Gilbert. Let's take a look at what you were talking about here, Sam. So there's the 73 of Gilbert. Boy, just a big slide coming off of Shoreline. And that was big. That was a hard hit for Gilbert. We'll take one more look at it on board of the driver of the 73, Gerard Gilbert. Boy, over the bumps, the car just did not want to stick at all. And boy, a big lockup for the 44 of Gamillion.
Yeah, and Gagara Jr. involved in that as well. He's got some pretty heavy front end damage now. He was literally right behind Gilbert when that happened and got caught up in it. Literally ended up going all 4 wheels off the floor at one point and now has to deal with that front wing damage until he makes his pit stop.
And that is quite a bit of front wing damage on the driver who finished second in the Daytona 500. Might have noticed Joshua Mertz is not in, at least not in this split at least. The winner of the 500 3 weeks ago. As we see Gargaro battling for the 13th position. He has Gregory Hectus is the next car up the road. Just a mere 7.75 seconds up the road. Easily manageable. Closest battle on track right now.
Gamble and Halleck.
Yep, is Robert Campbell in the 48 Brian Halleck in the 3. Now, this battle for ninth has been going on for laps and laps and laps here. And it just appears as though Gamble has just enough in that Sector 5, number 48, to be able to pull out and just stay ahead of Brian Halleck.
Oh, we've had an incident for Julian Mookie. Sorry to
You're good.
interrupt you there. Oh, and Mookie got hit from behind and punted into the wall. That looked horrid.
Let's take a look and try to
Back to
find
lap 24, sorry.
what happened here with these guys. And I don't know if iRacing is going to be kind. Oh, there is Mookie. Well, there's Mookie's already in the wall there, so whatever happened to the 39, unfortunately, was not visible on my end. But now here's Mookie coming out of pit road, right in front of Michael Broomhead in the 54.
Yeah, heartbreak for Mookie. He was having such a good run up until that point, and it was a weird incident. I know your cameras didn't catch it, but I saw it firsthand, and they were coming down Shoreline, and it looked like he just caught his right rear, and it just launched him up into the wall and just completely destroyed his car. So it was just a difference in speed there, and I think it might have been Deloach that might have hit him from behind, because Deloach showing a slight bit of damage on his car.
That's certainly going to affect him, as there is the 338. That is Joey Haynes for Evolve Racing. Coming out and around the 039, Ozzie Milwane in one of the Evolve sister cars just set the fastest lap of the race, the first and only driver thus far to break into the 1 minute and 11 second time bracket with a 1:11.98. So that 1:13 showing some muscle here at this stage of the run.
Yeah, I'm just looking through. We've got people making. Oh, Rob Courtney keeps coming in and out of pit road. Not really sure what's going on with him right now. He's very slow coming down pit road. Got some major front end damage. He's had an incident somewhere.
Let's take a look a little bit further back as Ethan Osowski has some new left front damage on that 033, the current points leader, up into P15 after his earlier spin, as that was Rob Courtney leaving pit road. Robert Deloach and Richard McClure battling for position right behind them, as there is your race leader, the 74 of Jacob Mink. And oh, there's somebody on their roof. It's the 56 of Stefan.
Oh,
what
my
happened to
goodness me.
Stefan?
I'll take a look at it there. It's
coming up towards that long straightaway, it just catches those bumps wrong, and we've seen him on the ragged edge there. And oh my goodness, that was Osowski.
That's where the damage came from.
Well, no, that's after that damage.
Oh wow, okay.
So Osowski was just trying to get around Stefan and just guessed the wrong way.
Yeah, Osowski's out of this one now. He's had to jump to pit road with that damage, and everybody's getting bunched up now. We're seeing a lot of people getting lapped and things like that, and the field is getting very bunched up. We're seeing I'm trying to find exactly what is going on here. They are all bunched up at somewhere down the line.
Yeah, they're all, it's all by the leader too. Jacob Mink has now finally gotten through this group. There is Spencer Todd, who has closed the gap down to the race lead. It was 4.5 seconds at one point. That gap has now shrunk down to 2 seconds with all the traffic that Jacob Mink has been in. Ozzie Milwane is now right in the thick of this traffic as well. all of this happening right around the race leaders. Also, Brian Halleck now making a pass, finally gets around Robert Gamble in the 48.
Great move there by Halleck, using that speed down the main straight and just getting to the back of Gamble, and just making it count through the fountain as well. So good play, a very unusual place to pass, but still makes it work.
Spencer Todd getting around Maurice Gamillion in the 44. As now there is nobody between the 47 and the 24, but that gap has significantly come down. Take a look at the time delta between the two, and you can tell, boy, you can tell, when Mink hit that lap traffic and had that incident with the 56 right in front of him, that gap just falls away.
He's managed to extend that gap again up to 2.7 seconds or thereabouts, as he's now clear of the traffic. Todd is also clear, so he can start to try and close that gap again, but Mill Wayne still mired behind. I believe that's Gamillion, and I believe that is
the 84 of McClure.
Yeah, that is McClure. Actually, that might be Deloach behind in front of him. No, it's not. I apologize, I'm getting mixed up here.
As Mill Wayne will now move out of the way of the race leader. Jacob Mink has sprung free of the traffic and is now trying to spring free of Spencer Todd again. We had mentioned that Ozzie Millwane, the only driver to break into the 111 bracket. That is no longer the case. 111.72 last time around for the current race leader, Jacob Mink. He is out of that traffic and feeling good.
And Ozzie Millwane still can't get around Gamillion. Gamillion really causing Millwane a lot of problems there, and while all this is happening, Spencer Todd is just getting away, and it's not looking good for that 113 right now.
It's not looking good for the 24 either, as he's got clear racetrack ahead of him now, but it appears as though nothing that he does is catching him up to the 47, as Gregory Hectus has brought it into the pits. He does have some right front damage, but from what I can tell, this is voluntary entry into pit road.
Yeah, this we are seeing a lot of people coming into pit road. Gregory Hectus is in, Jason McSparron in pit road as well for his first scheduled stop of the night. Yeah, I think we're at that point now where green flag pit stops are going to be a factor.
And that would mean pit stops, if it were to have started right now, it would be pit stops between laps 66 and 71, which would leave you about 15 to between 10 and 15 laps short of being able to make it the duration of the race. This, boy, you can see just how slidey and how much that 47 of Mink is really pushing that car as he gets around one of the Vengeance Motorsports entries. I believe that was the 42 of Gargaro.
Gargaro was still nursing that front wing damage that he got from hitting. I can't remember who it was. No, it wasn't. I will get it eventually. My brain's not
Gilbert.
working.
Gerard Gilbert was the one.
Yeah. Still nursing that front wing damage from hitting Gerard Gilbert. We'll get that fixed when he comes to pit road and uses that fast repair, but just not showing a lot of speed right now. We only have 10 drivers left on the lead lap right now, Frank.
Yeah, this has been quite a show, and Jacob Mink, for the most part, has been the only one that has not made a mistake yet. Now, Ozzie Millwane, Justin Garrick, Michael Broomhead, those guys have all had clean races as well. But as we had said right at the top of the race, you need to have good track position here if you want any chance at winning. Mink, starting on the front row, has made it work, especially after that mistake by Todd spinning out of the hairpin. as we are watching Justin Garrick for High Class Racing, the number 31. Trying to get around 2 of the Forge Racing Sport entries. There you go. There's your plug for Ford for Forge Racing Sport. Right there on the back wing. Top 4 positions right now. High Class, Evolve, Evolve, High Class. And then there's Michael Broomhead, who's had a very quiet run in that number 54, running in the 5th position. Very solid night, and for a place as difficult as Long Beach, that's really all you can ask for.
Yeah, and Broomhead had a good run at Daytona, unfortunately fell back late on in the race, and I think he's pretty much thankful that he's able to have this quiet race so far. We're not even halfway yet, so still plenty of racing left to go, so don't go anywhere. Joey Haynes just not able to close the gap on Broomhead as things stand right now. And Cianfrani is another one that's having a pretty good race here tonight. He's right behind his teammate Gerard Gilbert, but Cianfrani had some very bad luck in the first 2 rounds.
Oh, there goes Gilbert. They're both around.
Oh, no.
Oh, and this is going to block the...
Oh, no.
Boy, Covey is a lucky boy. And look at all of that damage on the 29 of Gustavo Cianfrani. So much for your solid, quiet race.
Oh, and he's just buried it into the wall. And
Yeah,
he's going to have to tow. I'm going to take full blame for that one.
I mean, that right there had to do with Cianfrani. That left front was not on the ground, and we're going to see what happened with Gilbert here. It's Gilbert in the 73 in the foreground, Cianfrani in the 29 in the background, just catches that extended tire wall, and that's all. And here comes Covey in, having to slam on the brakes. A good job by Cianfrani to hit the gas and get out of the way there. We'll ride on board now with Gilbert, and he is going to just kiss that tire wall, and around he goes.
I feel really bad.
Well,
I said he had that bad luck in the 2 Daytona races, and then
wasn't much later.
Yeah, literally seconds after I say that, he gets taken out by his own teammate. So, you know.
We brought up Murray Walker at the beginning of the race, and that was one of the things that he said. It's the commentator's curse is very, very real. As we take a look at the race leader, Jacob Menk.
Oh.
Care to explain?
Someone just hit the wall a second ago. I'm going to go back and look at it, but I'm pretty sure I saw someone hit the wall pretty hard back there, and I'm pretty sure it might have been
possibly Rob Courtney, maybe. Oh, no, Courtney looks clean in that 64.
It was Joseph Homan that hit the wall, coming out onto that right-hander right in front of Broomhead. So Homan smacking that wall and damaging the suspension. He's going to have to bring that in for repairs.
There you see Homan in the 999 coming out of the final corner. He's going to stay on. Interesting decision given where he is on the racetrack. It's right between, I believe that's Michael Broomhead and Joey Haynes. He's running between
Haynes. Yes, Haynes. I can't even find him right now. Oh, it's on. Oh, never mind.
Yeah, I think Haynes has had a connection issue. We'll go back up to the front here as we look at Jacob Mink. Now, we're only a couple laps away from, if you make a pit stop, you're good to go from here. And ever since Spencer Todd spun it earlier on in the race. I want to say around lap 10. This has been Jacob Mink's race to lose at this point. Has grown that lead back out. When Todd had spun, the lead was 4.5 seconds. Get into all that lap traffic, have a big wreck happen in front of you. That all means that the lead shrinks back down to 1.5 seconds. He has now grown that lead back out to 5.5 seconds. And going back, this is on lap 13. This is how Jacob Mink took the race lead. The 24 of Todd going through the hairpin. Little too much gas, little too early. Car was too light. Right around he went.
Yeah, and his teammate Justin Garrick having a very solid race. I'm going to touch the table when I say this because it's made of wood. Justin Garrick having a very solid race here in P4. Not really anything trouble right now. Teammate 2, Justin Mink, and the high-class team having a very good night here tonight so far.
They are. As I had mentioned earlier, it is high class, revolve, high class in the top 4. It's evolve, pardon me, not revolve, evolve. Those consonants and vowels become very difficult at some point. as we watch Garrick.
Sorry, look at the gap between Todd and Milwain now. Todd has got that. Milwain's got the gap down to less than a second and a half now. After finally getting rid of that traffic, Milwain is on a tear right now.
And Milwain was 0.2 quicker than Spencer Todd the lap prior, and Milwain has actually been consistently quicker than Spencer Todd. And both of these guys, you can clearly see no traffic around them. Todd's got nobody in front of him. Milwain's got nobody behind him. Boy, it looked like Todd had the pace earlier on. It appears as though Milwain is the one with the pace now.
Yeah, you got a bit closer coming through the hairpin there. Probably just a tad bit slower on the exit, but Milwain's still right there. The gap is now down to 1.37 seconds. Meanwhile, Jacob Mink has extended that gap further. He's now almost 7 seconds up the road now.
What a unique look here under the left rear suspension of the number 24 of Spencer Todd. And you could see just how little travel and how bumpy this track really is once you get right up and personal under the car. And oh, look out behind. That's Ozzie Milwain.
We have had a problem for Joey Haynes. I've just seen Joey Haynes has jumped to pit road. I'm not really sure why. I'm pretty sure that's from his connection issues. So Haynes, what was a good night, unfortunately because of his internet connections, kind of let him down here tonight.
Oh, Haynes. I'm showing Haynes still on the racetrack. However, he's in 17th position, so he might. Now, this is a situation with iRacing to where if your internet connection is bad enough, long enough, it will stop.
Oh, he did throughput.
Okay. I was going to say, it will stop scoring you until your internet connection gets to a satisfactory level with iRacing that they deem you are scoreable again. So that might have been the issue, as Spencer Todd right now is taking the lead after Jacob Mink comes in just at the halfway mark. So Mink now knows without beyond any shadow of a doubt that he can make it the rest of the way on fuel.
Yeah, so Mink, the first of the leaders to bring it down pit road, fires it out of pit road down towards turn 1 now. Let's see what Spencer Todd and the two Evolution cars, is it Evolution? Yeah. Evolve. Two Evolve cars can do with this one. And actually, Todd's actually extended his lead over Milwain again. So Todd, realizing that Mink has now come down pit road, as we've got a spinner coming out of the hairpin there, Frank.
Yep, that was Robert Covey there in the 72, and that kind of eliminated any chance. As you see Todd going around Jason McSparron, and boy, he made that a lot more dramatic than it needed to be. as Covey being where he was, if Todd wanted to come into pit there, pretty much ruined any chance that he had of coming in.
Yeah, and he's, like I said before, I noticed that spin coming out of the hairpin there. I think Todd, realizing that Mink has made that pit stop, has realized he's got to put on one heck of an in-lap right now to try and at least close that gap on Mink after the pit stops are said and done, and maybe try a very brave undercut, but I don't think it's possible. Maybe close the gap, but probably not going to get the undercut here.
The two dots you're looking for are the 24 and the 47 on track right now. That is the visual gap between those two drivers, as the 24 working his way down into the hairpin now is Spencer Todd. Here he is coming out of the hairpin, might have clipped that wall a little bit, and now Todd will jump into pit road, so watch for that number 47 bubble of Jacob Mink. He's flashing just a little bit. Here he is coming onto Shoreline Drive, and we'll see where these two come out in relation to each other. Ozzie Milwain stayed on the racetrack. Justin Garrick decided to come in. Nathan Medina in the 6 in as well.
Broomhead stays out.
Broomhead staying out. Todd still in the box in that number 24. You see they're both on the front straightaway now. There's Todd. We'll see where Mink comes around. Mink has gotten past him. So Mink will stay in the race lead.
Yeah, very, very slow exit out of pit road there for Spencer Todd, and he's come out a long way, probably even further behind Jacob Mink now. 14 seconds. Actually, make that 7 seconds. He's actually lost a further second through the pit stop. Unfortunately for Spencer Todd there, as Ozzie Milwain going to bring it to pit road now.
Ozzie Milwain into the pit lane in the 113, and Spencer Todd did not have the easiest run of it coming out of pit road either. Had one of the Vengeance Motorsports entrants in this race.
Broomhead stayed out again.
Right on his corner. That was Nathan Medina that was coming out with him, and you're right. Broomhead deciding to stay out, so Michael Broomhead now will officially have led a lap here in tonight's race as Mink gets past Ozzie Milwain. Now we'll see if Todd can get around Ozzie Milwain.
Milwain just leaving his pit box right there. Here comes Spencer Todd coming down the main straight right now, just in front of Joey Haynes, so another one of their teammates in this pack right now, but obviously Haynes a couple of laps now down because of that throughput he had, but Todd getting out comfortably ahead of Milwain. Milwain now 3.5 seconds back from the 24.
Not the greatest time to stop either for Milwain as he gets out behind 3 lap cars between himself and Spencer Todd. Michael Broomhead, currently your race leader here in the 54, as pit stops still working their way through. Not quite done yet. Michael Broomhead, Robert Gamble, David Gargaro, and Richard McClure of the guys that are still on the lead lap and in the top 10. Here comes Broomhead into pit road now. Those are the guys in the top 10 that have not yet pit. This will hand the lead of the race back over to the 47 of Jacob Mink. And Mink currently with a very healthy lead of 8 seconds over the 24 of Spencer Todd.
Yeah, Broomhead's still up on the jacks here, and obviously he's got a decent gap to Robert Gamble. Actually, no, he doesn't, as Gamble moves ahead of Broomhead. So does Justin Garrick, and Broomhead is going to lose a lot of spots for this one.
Broomhead might have been on damage repair, as Brian Halleck is the next one he's going to have to worry about. But Halleck, you see him just turning off of Shoreline Drive now. So Broomhead is out securely in the 6th position, but you're right, he does lose that spot to Justin Garrick in the 31. There's the 350 of McEnany, who has been through the wars tonight. Closest battle for position on track right now is between, I believe it's between Richard McClure and David Gargaro. There they are. This is a battle for the 8th spot between these two as they head through the fountain. And then Halleck, who we had just mentioned, there he is up the road going into Tecate Corner right now.
Battle brewing between Gregory Hectus and Nathan Medina right now for the 13th spot. They just come through turn 1 right now. Hectus has it, Medina wants it, and Medina starting to really put the pressure on the the 999 right now as they come through the right-hander down towards, as they come through the middle part of the track.
As Hectus actually losing quite a bit of time to Medina. Hectus' best lap in this race is a 113.60. Medina's is a 112.76, so a second quicker on merit between these two. As Robert Gamble comes into pit road, in and out in that sector 5, number 48.
Rejoins a P7, so that run for Gamble really paying off there. Made up quite a few spots there as he comes up just ahead of Richard McClure and David Gargaro.
Right there. So this is a three-way battle for the 7th position here as Gamble comes out of pit road. And again, not that far off of Halleck either. So if McClure can just put some, if Gamble can put some solid, decent laps in here, he's been quicker than these guys on merit tonight. Speaking of McClure and Gargaro, pronouns pal, is now starting to get away.
Yeah, as they come out of Shoreline and down towards the hairpin now. Just notice Jacob Mink has lost a bit of time here and he's dealing with traffic. That's why he's lost about 2 seconds now to Spencer Todd. And I think either Todd's put the foot down now and decided he needs to close that gap, or Mink has had some problems with some traffic here. And he has. Look at the cars behind him.
Yeah, it's the 999 of Joseph Holman. Robert Deloche is in there. Chris Sherburne, the 44 of Maurice Gamillion, is in this little group that he just had to wade his way through.
Oh, Broomhead is back in.
You're right. Michael Broomhead is back into pit road. Now coming back out. So that's an interesting development there. We'll see if...
I wonder if it's speeding on exit because he might have had to come back in for a penalty.
Speeding on exit would have... and there he goes around. Well, he just jumps the curb, and Hectus does the same thing, and that's a battle for position between those two now.
That's the slowest battle in the world.
Well, not much of a battle anymore as Gregory Hectus takes over that 13th position.
In the most unbelievable way possible.
Yeah, that's one of the more entertaining passes we've seen tonight. So take a look and see what happened.
When you try and overtake a competitor and you meet him face to face before you go around him.
Here's Broomhead coming up the hill. And again, this is a very difficult corner here. Just takes too much of the curb. And then here comes Jeremy Hectus. Just puts the power down too far. And, hey, you're for position. There's always light moments in auto racing.
So I can tell you that pit stop that Broomhead just had was actually a scheduled pit stop, 16.65 seconds in his box. That was fuel and tires. So interesting strategy from Broomhead. I wonder if he's done that to try and get to the end now.
I wonder if Broomhead... Now here's what... here's what I'm going to find interesting here. We're going to try to work this. We're going to try to manipulate this graphic here. When did he last come into pit? Broomhead came in on lap 45 and then again on lap 47. He shouldn't have needed to come in again. Unless he had made a mistake on the first pit stop. Maybe didn't fuel the car enough.
Maybe, but that wouldn't have given... If it was just a top off of fuel, he wouldn't have been in there for 16 seconds. That's a full tank of fuel he's taken right there.
That's... Maybe he didn't put any fuel in the car on the first stop by accident. And only took tires. That's odd that you would come in again just two laps after your previous stop.
We'll soon find out, as he's currently trying to get back to the back of Gregory Hectus after that interesting incident. He's got that is Justin Garrick in front of him. Garrick still in P4. Garrick again touching. Just as I say that, Garrick has an incident. I was about to say he's having a good race, and then he goes and does that.
Well, you hadn't said it yet,
Justin.
so you're clear on the commentator's curse.
Yeah, so Garrick in P4. Halleck in P5. He's having a very lonely race at this point.
He is, unfortunately. And now, while we were figuring out what happened with Broomhead and Hectus and all of that was going on surrounding that, there is the 24 of Spencer Todd. And something looks amiss on that number 24 that was not there when we last left him. Back on lap 49, this is what happened to Spencer Todd coming down Shoreline Drive into the heavy braking zone and just blows through it. Then, in an effort to get the car righted again, backs it into the wall and loses the second position to his teammate Ozzie Milwane.
Adrian Stefan went right blew through the corner as well, right behind him. I don't know if you saw that on the replay, Frank, but
not.
Just as Todd was leaving, you see in the background there, Stefan just goes right through the corner, right behind him.
See it now. Here comes Stefan. You can see there he is off, and yep, well, one goes in, one goes out, the next one just jumps right in. That flick spin a little bit better, done a little bit better there.
Absolutely. As that gap between Jake and Mink now, and Ozzie Milwane, who's up into second place, 10.10 seconds now. Milwane himself enjoying a 10-second lead over his teammate now.
Yes, he is. So we'll show you the gaps right here between, or try to at least. Graphic does not work that way, unfortunately.
While you're doing that, there is a nice battle brewing between Deloach and Sherburne.
Yes, there is. This is just the very back end of the top 10. The Sherburne in the 135 in the Sector 5 colors with the highlighter yellow number. And Robert Deloach, one of the several Forge Racing entries in this race. Battle for ninth going into turn one. That's the 999 of Joseph Holman, who is also in this battle for position as well. So a three-car battle here for ninth, working lap 54 of 81.
Holman still nursing that front wing damage from hitting that wall coming off of Shoreline. Obviously, he's been into pit road, so he hasn't taken that fast repair. I wonder if he'd already burnt it when he might have got caught up in that incident of going through the fountain on lap one. Might have already burned his fast repair. That might be why he's still got that front wing damage.
Might have done. As there those three go. Next car for position behind the trio that you're watching right now is Nathan Medina. He is 11.5 seconds behind that group. Medina, one of the 3 Vengeance Motorsports entries in tonight's race. Currently the second highest running. The highest running Vengeance Motorsports entry is the man who we're expecting to take over the points lead after tonight, and that is David Gargaro Jr., who is running in 8th position. Next driver in front of him for position is Richard McClure, and he is 4 seconds up the road. But with the 033 of Ethan Osowski out early here due to several incidents, this pretty much hands the lead of the points in this early season over to the driver of the 42.
Yeah, and Gargaro been up and down. I think the only incident I've seen him in tonight was that incident when Gerard had that big hit coming out of the corner, and unfortunately Gargaro was caught up in it, but that's about it. He's still got that damage on the front of his car, but doesn't seem to be affecting him too much here, Frank.
No, it does not. He does seem to be rolling quite nicely. Again, the next time we will see the Major Series here on ESPN, it'll be another one of those combined class races as, boy, Jacob Mink almost had a huge moment going through turn 1, where all of the series will be at the same track. It will be for the Musket 250 on April 11th. That will be at New Hampshire Motor Speedway in the NASCAR Whelen Tour Modifieds. Again, that will be on April 11th. Then we get to another fun event, another combined event. It'll be the Nürburgring 2.4. That will be on May 2nd for these drivers, and it will be in the 911, the Porsche 911 Cup, the GT4, and I believe that's the TCR, I believe. Picture's a little blurry.
I don't know.
Here.
I haven't looked at the lineup yet.
Picture's a little blurry here. Then it'll be only a very short layoff there, so the Nürburgring 2.4 is on the 2nd of May. 2 weeks later will be the Indianapolis 500 in the Dallara IR18, a full-length Indianapolis 500. That is your next 3 races upcoming for the Majors Series. For us here on ESPN, coming up tomorrow night will be round number 5 of the Rowdy Energy Cup Series season from Phoenix Raceway. Tony Ball looking to take 4 in a row to begin that season, as that race will start at 8:20 p.m. Eastern Time. A doubleheader on Tuesday will see the UK Sim Racing MX5 Pro Series open up their season. They're making their debut on ESPN. That will be at Bathurst at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Then the nightcap on Tuesday night will be the Western States Racing League at Miami. That race will at Milwaukee. That will start at 10:05 p.m. Eastern Time. Then on Wednesday night, March 17th, will be the Sim Racers Edge Alpha Series. They will be in Miami for round number 6 of the Alpha Series season. After a disappointing yet successful round 2 of the Bravo Series last night for both you and myself.
I wasn't disappointed. I was pretty happy with where I finished, but yeah, if you'd have worked your fuel strategy right, you'd have won that race last night, I think.
I was banking on one more caution that just did not come. Ended up finishing, I believe it was 9th. I believe we all finished line astern. I think Fletcher was 8th, I was 9th, you were 10th, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, we've just recruited a new member to the team as well. So.
Yes, you have.
All will be revealed on Wednesdays. Oh, Mink go for a big slide coming towards the hairpin. That looked pretty hairy, but I'm pretty sure he's having fun at this point.
Well, you don't want to have too much fun. He has lost a second on the man we had just seen on screen. That was Ozzie Milwane in second. 23 laps to go. Let's take a look at what happened with Mink. Goes for, oh, that's a big slide there. Boy, Mink has been throwing that car around here tonight. And it doesn't seem to matter how out of shape he gets it. He's been able to catch that 47 again.
He's genuinely been, it looks like, Mink just genuinely looks like he's having fun out there tonight.
I mean,
just by the way he's driving the car, he's like, woo! He's like, he thinks he's on a roller coaster, literally coming down that hill right there. He's like holding on to that steering wheel tight and just feeling the rush, man. He looks like he's really enjoying himself out there tonight.
Why wouldn't you? Taking these classic legendary cars around an absolutely legendary track, and he's still slinging this thing around. Boy, it looks a lot more out of control from far away from our television cameras than it does on board. He's really not all that dramatic with the steering wheel as we hit 22 to go at the line.
Absolutely, and 22 to go. 9 seconds the gap between Jake and Mink and Ozzie Milwane. Spencer Todd is still 13 seconds off his teammate, so he's lost even more time since he's had that spin in the few laps ago that damaged his rear wing. Garrick's still running pretty safely in P4, and I say that very tentatively because every time I've said something nice about a driver tonight, they've wrecked.
Especially Garrick.
Especially seeing Ferrani, I still feel bad about him. That battle, there's a battle going on between Rob DeLoach and Joseph Homan now. Homan has gone around Chris Sherburn and is now chasing down the 235. So this is a battle going on between the Ford racing car and the 999. Looking very spicy at this point.
These two battling for 9th and 10th. A little bit further up the field, another Forge car is doing battle. That is Brian Halleck in the number 3, and Robert Gamble has caught up to Halleck. Remember, Halleck was about 4 seconds clear of Robert Gamble going into the pit stop cycle. Now, right on his rear wing.
Yeah, that's the 350 right in front of him. That's Greg McEnany. Not really. He gets out of the way of his teammate. Is he gonna? No, he gets out of the way of. I believe that's Sherburn. Oh, that's Gamble right behind him. I apologise.
Deloach and Sherburn, though, having a probably Deloach and Holman. They're starting to really get after each other.
The Sector 5 car's not really been anywhere tonight. They've been up there in the top 10, but not really had the challenge, the speed to challenge for the top 5. I think Sherburn is just outside the top 10. Gamble is battling for a top 5 right now, but that's the highest he's been all night, and probably 5th is probably going to be the best he's going to hope for at this point in the race now.
Also, that does appear to be as well. Another one of the Sector 5 entries is this man right here, the 322, pardon me, of Stephen Paulison. He has had a woeful night as well, and that started fairly early for him in that 322. Sector 5 has not brought the best package to this racetrack. As we take a look, only 5 drivers that were not here, or that were here at the start, no longer participating in the race now. Gerard Gilbert, we saw that big accident he had on lap 34. He pulled it off after that and was done. Ethan Osowski pulls it over on lap 29. Matt Gelder done on lap 14. Ryan Shute, we saw what happened to him on lap 1 going into the fountain section. He was done after lap 4, and Trevor Vavrovsky did not make the start for this race. So only 4 DNFs, 1 did not start here in this race as we look back up to the front. And that 47 of Jacob Mink has pulled that gap out again, back up to 10.5 seconds over Ozzie Milwing.
Yeah, and I'm just thinking about Ethan Ozowski. Had a great start to the season, getting good results in both Daytona races. Unfortunately, had a lot of heartbreak early on in this race, and he's already out of this event. That's really, really, really going to put some damage early on to his championship ambitions here.
Yeah, unfortunately, it will. And with only one race a month, this season may seem long, but it comes up to an end in a hurry. There's only one race a month, except for May. Obviously, we just went over that. You get the 2.4 hours at the Nürburgring, then the Indianapolis 500. But beyond that, just a race a month in a completely different discipline of car, and that's what really makes this series difficult, is to all of the different disciplines you have to watch out for and have to learn and really try to master as quick as you can, as we watch Nathan Medina battle Michael Broomhead here for 12th.
Yeah, and we've had an incident for Chris Sherburne. He was right behind Rob DeLoach at one point. He's had an incident there because he's got some rear wing damage. I don't know where it's happened, but definitely on the back foot now is the man in the 135.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything, unfortunately, as Sherburne. And he was right on the back of Robert DeLoach, has now lost 13 seconds to DeLoach. His closest battle on track right now for position is between these two. It's Nathan Medina and Michael Broomhead. These guys are not on the lead lap. These guys are one lap down.
And the damage on Medina's car is bad.
Yeah, that's be interested to find out where he was able to find dirt to scrub on the front of that car. As these guys go through Tecate Corner, about to get onto Shoreline Drive. Just see again, we've seen it all race long, how much these cars bounce around as Broomhead look to try to make a move. Going down into the final section of this racetrack. Just so hard and so tight around here, at least. Really difficult to make a move. He might have a good shot at him going into turn one. I think he might have actually missed a gear there as he falls right off the back of Medina.
Yeah, Broomhead is just not having the best of nights. He got it off to a great start, but Broomhead just seems to be really struggling. I wonder if that spin has kind of thrown him off his game a little bit now, because he is really all over the place right now.
Broomhead was as high as 5th place at one point, came into pit on lap 45, then came in again on lap 47, put him back down in 14th. And you can see that big slide there by Nathan Medina. We're coming to 16 laps to go. Battle between David Gargaro and Joseph Hellman is not yet done. These guys battling for 8th. Heading through the fountain.
It's ironic because Gargaro and Medina are actually teammates. Both of them have front end damage. Both of them in battles right now.
Yes,
Hellman hits the wall right behind Gargaro.
Yep, Hellman did in that 999. For Unorthodox Motorsports.
Those very tail happy. Sorry.
No, you're fine. I was going to say those entries have had a horrific night tonight. Holman's had trouble. 69 of Matt Gelder has run into problems, is no longer participating in this race. It's been an interesting night for that team.
Absolutely, as Courtney gets out of the way of his teammate there as he continues his battle with Broomhead. And Broomhead going to take a look to the inside coming down. Shoreline drive, big dive to the inside, and Broomhead going to take that away. Great move there by the 54.
Unfortunately got to it a little bit late here, but we will see in just a second how Michael Broomhead will wait and see if there's a response from Nathan Medina. Doesn't look like there's going to be. Regrettably got to that battle a little bit too late. We'll see what happens. Oh boy, Medina really dove in there hard going into turn one. It almost looked like Broomhead let him have it.
Great battle going on between these two, though. That move from Broomhead down the shoreline, though, that was a very, very aggressive move on Medina, as Medina still trying to hold Broomhead behind him right now as they now hit shoreline again. Well, they're coming down towards shoreline anyway. And Broomhead losing a bit of time there, almost takes out the back of Medina then.
And Broomhead almost taking out the back of his own car on that tire wall.
Now they're on shoreline.
Going through Tecate corner.
There you go.
Now on shoreline these two go. 14 laps to go. Not missing anything up front. Mink still leading by 11.5 seconds over Ozzy Milwane. Spencer Todd at Broomhead. We've seen a couple of guys, including Medina, spin around coming out of the hairpin by jumping off of those curbs. Did the exact same thing right there.
Yeah, and there's a battle brewing again between Brian Halleck and Robert Gamble.
Oh, there goes Broomhead around.
Oh, no.
Broomhead just went full-on slide. Looked as if he pulled the handbrake going into turn one. You said Holman and Gargaro having a battle. There's these two again.
Halleck and Gamble, actually.
Oh, Halleck and Gamble, pardon me. Here they are.
Yeah, this one's been going on for a while as well between the Forge number 3 and the number 48. Very good battle between these two. And this is, again, a battle for your top 5 here. The Sector 5 driver of Robert Gamble desperately trying to pull off a good result here for Sector 5. Obviously, Forge are not having the best races themselves either. So these guys who were fighting at the front quite a lot last week now just picking up scraps here this time around.
Halleck, the highest running of the Forge drivers. Have to go back down to Robert DeLoach in 10th to find the next Forge racing driver. It would be Joey Haynes, Maurice Camillon, 15th and 16th. Forge have not had a good day. Same thing with Sector 5, and these are the two highest running drivers for their respective teams. Doing battle here with 12 laps to go. Two closest battles on track are this one you're seeing here between Halleck and Gamble. And boy, Halleck comes really close to smacking the rear end on those tires.
Gamble looks up for this one. He's right on his tail now. Really trying to put the pressure on that number 3 as the laps wind down as they come onto shoreline. Can Gamble get a run? No, Gamble's actually backed off slightly there coming through shoreline.
You can see these guys have just been lapped by the leader, Jacob Mink, in the 47. A little bit of a slide there from Halleck. Coming off of shoreline into the hairpin. 11 laps to go as Mink hits the line right around now. So only the top 4 drivers are on the lead lap at the moment, as Jacob Mink has put on an absolute clinic after taking the lead on lap number 13, capitalizing on a mistake from Spencer Todd, who currently occupies the 3rd position. There is Spencer Todd. Ozzie Milwane currently in second. As Gargaro and Gargaro and Holman. Holman has now taken that position in the 999.
Gargaro still wants it. Oh, another big incident there for Spencer Todd coming from the corner. Got it all wrong right behind this battle. All could have ended so much worse there for Todd, but very lucky to keep it in a straight line.
Absolutely, and that is his teammate Joey Haynes. I was wrong. I do apologize. I had mentioned that Haynes being a part of Forge Racing moments ago. I do apologize. Clearly not a part of Forge Racing. As working behind his teammate Todd right now.
Very impressed with Haynes to be where he is right now, despite the throughput. He's still in the top 15.
Yep, he's again throughputting earlier on, like right around the pit cycle. Right around halfway is when Haynes had throughputed. He was in the top 5. Actually, I believe, no, he might have been 6th, actually, at the time of the throughput. Joey Haynes has been holding on. One of the very few drivers here with a clean race car this late in the race.
And this is a quick look at what could have been here for Haynes as he's coming up to Gargaro. Going to get a run on him coming to the left-hander here and just going to dive it in there. And that's the speed he's got there. And if it wasn't for that throughput, he would have been challenging right up there in that top 5. I mean...
Oh, that's the 999. That was Holman.
Yeah, very much Holman as he goes straight on into the corner. And that's let Gargaro back up to his P8 now.
I think I found where Medina got the dirt. As Holman, that same scruff on his front end, we're going to see coming onto Shoreline. Right past the movie theater here. It's going to brake too late. Didn't really lock up the front end, just got on the brakes too late.
Yeah, it's those little mistakes that have cost Holman here tonight. He's hit the wall a few times and now just gone straight onto that corner, just compounding the night that he's had here tonight. Still holding on to the top 10 though, still about 1.6 seconds ahead of Rob DeLoach, who is coming with a head of steam, and DeLoach still with a clean car actually, not too bad.
Yeah, DeLoach having a fine night himself here in the 235, and boy, that front wing damage really affecting the 999 of Holman. Now he's going to lose the position.
He's got more than front wing damage there, I think.
We'll take a look. We'll ride on board here with Holman as we go with this straightaway. Maybe not.
And that's going to be it for Holman.
Yep, you can see that front end all torn up. He's going to pull it off and take it back pit side. So it all comes crumbling down for Joseph Holman, who had a very nice top 10 run going. And unfortunately not meant to be. So we take a look at the man who had just gotten around him, David Gargaro.
And while you're looking at that, I'm just looking at the battle between Gamble and Halleck. Again, these two have been inseparable for the past 10 laps now. And... Oh, there it goes! Halleck goes around!
And that's him pushing a little too hard there after Gamble got up to him. But Gamble had been there for a while, and just finally the rear tires on Halleck's car gave up. Take a look and see. We'll ride on board with the man piloting the number 3 to Conte Corner. Yep, lost it on acceleration. And Gamble will take a top 5 position because of it.
Yeah, very much capitalizing on a mistake there by Brian Halleck, and that's the first. I'm pretty sure that's the first mistake we've seen him make all night, and it's been a very costly one as Medina has had a spin, and that is with that battle he's been having with Broomhead as well, and that's lost him a position to Gianfrani as well, and just lost it coming in that corner that you keep talking about. I can't remember the name of it.
Again, just too hard on the throttle It's a very wide and inviting part of the racetrack. You have to be very patient going through there, though, in order to make it work. So we'll go back up to the front here. Jacob Mink has led this race from lap number 13 on. Currently touting a 12.7 second lead over Ozzie Milwayne. Spencer Todd a further 13 seconds behind Milwayne. The man's made it look easy tonight in the 47 in a car that's a lot of fun to drive, unlike anything you would find today on a track that is more than challenging enough for many people.
Absolutely. There's a battle brewing a bit further back. It's not representative, but it's for the 15th spot between Adrian Stefan and Maurice Camillion. Now, these two have had their fair share of incidents here tonight. Just good to see that they're going to get into a battle. Actually, Camillion backing off, coming towards turn one, as there goes Stefan to the inside. I believe that was McEnany just passed that.
Robert Deloge.
There you go.
The 235. Stefan does have a position ahead of him. Joey Haynes in the 338 is 11 seconds up the road.
Haynes has been untouchable since he came back, though.
Yeah, he has been. He has been incredibly quick, consistently running in the 1 minute 12 second bracket, which last lap would be good enough for fourth quickest time on track. Not quite as quick as Jacob Mink, but very comparable to his two teammates, Ozzie Milwayne, who you see on screen right now.
Oh, it's Hectus has had a big crash, sorry.
Let's take a look and see. Gregory Hectus in pit road. See what happened to the pilot of the 178. Down into Tecate corner. Just not enough brake.
Yeah, it just went straight on into the tyre wall, and that driver for Simortal just probably going to put an end to his night now as well. So a lot of drivers, and we talk about driver fatigue here, and this being such a long race here, Frank, that fatigue looks like it's starting to set in for a lot of drivers here. We've seen it with Homan, now we've seen it with Hectus. People are starting to fall by the wayside because of just getting tired around here now.
It's a lot of simple little mistakes that are made when your attention just trails away for one slight moment at the worst possible time. As you see Jacob Mink working his way around, that was the 6 of Nathan Medina. Unfortunately, no real close battles on track right now. The closest battle for position is Adrian Stefan and Maurice Camillion. That is a 3.5 second gap between the two and growing exponentially per lap. And Stefan still trying to recover from that flip he had earlier.
I want to point out, biggest move of the night, Richard McClure up to P7 from what was, I believe,
Stone dead last, I think.
Yeah, stone dead last, and he's up to P7. Still got a clean car in the Dog Bear team, and running pretty nicely now.
And just think, that's stone dead last, a complete log jam on lap 1 in the fountain section. Able to get through that with no damage, has had the speed to be able to make these moves, running times that are very comparable to the leaders. This time around for McClure, I believe he might have had an on-track battle with somebody, because that's 1 minute 16 seconds that he just put in. Might have had to deal with McSparren on that lap. McClure has had an absolutely fantastic night, after not putting in a qualifying time and starting in stone dead last.
Yeah, as we're going to go to the front of the field here, Frank, as popsicle sticks are going to be out this time by for your race leader, Jacob Mink, as he comes out of the hairpin. Popsicle sticks in the air. 2 laps to go here at Long Beach.
Exactly right. 2 to go and a 13.5 second lead for the driver of the number 47. And even with this lead, he is not letting off. He has kept this car pinned to the mat. Just put down a 1:11.83 last time around. Only the top 3 drivers have been able to hit a 1:11 race pace. And it is the top 3 drivers that have been able to do so. And it's just been absolutely masterful driving from Jacob Mink. As I said, I don't remember seeing him in the first 2 rounds of this season up here in the top split for the American Sportsman Series. If this is his first run in the top split, it's this one. This is one where he really stamped his authority of what he can do.
And if this proves anything, I mean, he was keeping Spencer Todd very honest for those first 13 laps and forced him into a mistake there as the white flag comes out right now. That just proves, and as the great Murray Walker, the late great Murray Walker now I should say, sadly, usually says, anything could happen, and it usually does, and it did there for him. And he managed to get the lead, and he hasn't looked back since.
That's absolutely right, as Mink works his way through the second half of the lap, still flicking that Lotus 79 sideways as he comes out of these corners, but he has been absolutely untouchable and unflappable here tonight. He's got 2 lap cars of Greg McEnany and Gustavo Cianfarini ahead of him. He will not catch them, however, as he comes through the final 2 corners, heavy braking zone into the hairpin. It will be Jacob Mink winning round number 3 of the Major Series American Sportsman Division. The 1979 Grand Prix of Long Beach is his.
Yeah, as Ozzy Milwayne comes out of the final hairpin, he will come down towards the line and claim second place. A good, quiet race for him, to be fairly honest, and not really gotten into any trouble. But the same could not be said for his teammate, though. Spencer Todd led the early laps of the race and made that one mistake that lost him the race win potentially here tonight. He will cross the line for third place, and he will round out your podium here at Long Beach.
He will round out your podium, and the man coming up behind him, also for high class, will round out the drivers that finish on the lead lap. Justin Garrick coming home in the 4th position, started 6th. But what more can you say about his teammates' performance, though? Jacob Mink absolutely flew around this joint here tonight.
Yeah, and he was just absolutely unflappable from lap 13 onwards, like he said. And it's just been non-stop 47 at the front for him. And not just that, good points there for his team as well. High Class Motorsports, 1st and 4th. And then you've got Ozzy Milwayne and Spencer Todd, the teammates, going to pick up good team points for them as well. Brian Halleck, despite that spin coming up in P6 in the end, Robert Gamble going to get a top 5 in the end for Sector 5, so good for him. Richard McClure, biggest mover of the night, he's going to claim P7. 8th going to David Gargaro. 9th to Rob DeLoach in the end, and Michael Broomhead coming back right at the end there, passing Chris Sherburn at the death and finishing out your top 10 here tonight, Frank.
We will get these interviews here in just a moment as we wait for the top 3 to file into the interview room, and Sam will be with your winner as soon as that happens. But what an incredible night here at Long Beach, one of the more classic American tracks. You still see you still see the Indy cars come here every now and again, but still nice to see these old Lotus Formula One cars turning laps around such a fantastic track, a track that's been in tech for iRacing for so long. Now here, available to the public, and has just been absolutely a treat the two times we've broadcasted a race around this fantastic circuit.
Absolutely, and I've just absolutely loved seeing the Lotus 79s on this circuit alone, and all the drama we've seen here tonight from lap one with the pile up in the fountain section and everything else that's been going on. It's just been absolutely fantastic tonight. Really enjoyed it tonight, and I know there's a there's a man up in heaven right now, really smiling down after what we've seen here tonight. He's probably seeing exactly the same thing.
Absolutely. Is still waiting for these drivers to come in for their interviews. Again, your race winner here tonight, Jacob Mink, Ozzie Milwane, and Spencer Todd will be the three drivers we will hear from as soon as they are available to us. But while we're waiting for that, let's take a look at the final results here for tonight's race. We'll go through them now. Again, Jacob Mink, your race winner after taking the lead on lap 13. He never looked back, and Jacob Mink collecting his first win of the season. Ozzie Milwane and Spencer Todd, both for Evolve Sim Sports Academy, coming home in second and third. Justin Garrick for High Class Racing coming home in fourth. Robert Gamble, the highest Sector 5 finisher, finishing in, well, wouldn't you know it, fifth position. Brian Halleck comes home in sixth. Richard McClure finds seventh position, will be his finishing spot tonight. David Gargaro Jr., who will most likely be the points leader coming out of tonight's race, comes home in eighth. Robert Deloche finishes in ninth. Michael Broomhead finishing in 10th. Chris Sherburne, Gustavo Cianferrani, Nathan Medina, Joey Haynes, and Adrian Steffen coming home in the top 15, Sam.
And P16 will be going to Morris Gamillion. 17th, 16th, 17th will be going to Julian Mookie. We didn't really hear much from him after he had that big crash. And 18th going to Stephen Paulison. 19th going to Greg McAnini. Jason McStarren rounds out your top 20. Gregory Hector's in P21. Homan, heartbreak for him near the end there, was really going for a top 10. Unfortunately, having to settle for P22 after that crash ended his night. Rob Courtney in P23 had a very difficult night tonight off the track. A lot here tonight, I noticed. Robert Covey, P24. Jared Gilbert, massive crash that unfortunately took himself and his teammate out in the midway part of the race. He gets P25. Ethan Ozowski gets P26. Heartbreak for him after such a good opening to the season. Really going to cost him some points tonight, being down there in P26. Matt Gelder in P27. And Bryson Shute rounds out your field in P28.
And again, Trevor Vavrovsky not qualifying, not starting this race, coming home in the 29th position. So now we have them. We are ready to go. And Sam, you are with our race winner here tonight, Jacob Mink.
Yeah, Jacob Mink, Sam up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir, I do.
Absolutely flawless run here tonight in that number 47 machine. Got to be happy, and it really, by the way you were driving the car tonight, it looked like you had a lot of fun out there tonight.
Yes, sir, I did. This Lotus 79 mixed with the Long Beach street circuit here was just been a blast the entire time I've been driving it, practicing, qualifying. I had ton of fun with it and racing with all the guys too. It was surely a blast.
Now let's talk about that early battle you had with Spencer Todd right there. Lap 13 coming out of the hairpin, he spins it. Do you owe that to the pressure you're putting him under, or was it just a simple hitting the accelerated too early. You literally were putting them under a lot of pressure in those early laps there.
It might have been just a little bit of pressure, but I honestly think it was just a misjudgment on Spencer's part there. Stuff like that happens. You're always watching for these lap cars, and just like I said, mistakes like that happen sometimes, and it is what it is. It might have been the pressure, it might have not been. We'll just never know.
Yeah, and how was it driving around the corners there? We saw a lot of problems coming through the corners leading from Shoreline Drive. Any problems for yourself? No, the car looks pretty planted out there tonight.
Yeah, the car was very stable. I got to owe it to the guys at High Class Racing, Brian Scrivener, Justin Garrett, Chris Branson, Andy Spicer. For really dialing in the car these last few weeks. I haven't been able to practice too much, but I just got to give a huge credit to those guys for the setup and all that. And I just hope they did good in their races. We'll have to talk with them after. But yeah, just a big credit to those guys for giving me such a fast car tonight.
Well, Justin finished in the top 5, so you've got to be happy with that one. So,
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, good points for your team there tonight. Looking ahead to the next race, though, we are changing things up again as we go short track racing in the Wheeler Modifieds at New Hampshire. You're going to be there for that one?
Oh, definitely. Short track is usually my realm, so hopefully we can repeat what we did tonight and get another win there.
All right, and before I let you go and celebrate your victory, anybody you'd like to give a shout out to, say thanks to?
Well, my family watching at home, all my boys watching at home. I know you guys are watching. Thank you for the support, and my girlfriend Catalina, thank you. Appreciate all the support. No matter if it's real racing, if it's sim racing, I always got support behind me. So I'm just incredibly thankful for all those guys I just mentioned.
All right, well, Jacob Mink in the number 47 machine, driving for High Class Racing. Coming home with your race victory here tonight. Congratulations, and we'll see you next time round when we head to the Wheeler Modifieds.
We'll see you then. Thank you, guys.
All right, Frank.
All right, so that was your race winner, Mr. Jacob Mink. Coming up next is your second place finisher here tonight, Ozzy Milwane for the Evolve Sim Sports Academy, rounding out the final 2 spots on the podium. Ozzy, it looked like a pretty uneventful race from your end. I know it wasn't the case, but a lot of what you did tonight was a result of just capitalizing on mistakes.
Yeah, and that was the goal of this race, just to keep it off the wall. This track's really hard to be consistent. There's a bit of a hairy start there, but once we got in line, I just put my head down and tried to hit my marks. I don't think I had anything for Jacob. I was kind of hoping he'd make a mistake, but he didn't. So, yeah.
Going through the race, there was one part where everyone got log jammed right around the pit stop with all the lap cars. There was an accident in the middle of it as well. How difficult was it to get through traffic tonight, given how tight and confined this racetrack is, the way these cars are a little bit wider, and just how difficult was it to negotiate around cars tonight?
Yeah, you definitely got to look ahead and then just check up. It's a long race, and then just try and dodge the wrecks. I mean, the lap traffic was really cooperative tonight, and that made it easy for us.
It certainly makes it better. Going into the next round of the season, should be about 3 weeks away, is going to be the Musket 250 and the Wheeling Modifieds at New Hampshire. What are your thoughts and feelings going back to a tin top, going back to an oval for round 4 of the season?
Well, this is all new to me, so it's just going to be another learning experience. I did all right at Daytona, had some bad luck there. Was running up front. It should be okay. I think our team, we got a lot of good guys on our team, and I think we can put a good setup together, and hopefully we can stay at the top.
Well, hopefully for your sake and for the sake of the point standings that you can do just that. Anybody you want to thank before we let you go and celebrate a second place finish?
Yeah, just all the guys at Evolve Sim Sports. And then we got a couple sponsors there, Direct Innovations and Tranco.
All right. There is your second place finisher tonight, Austin Milwane. Congratulations.
Thanks a lot, guys.
And one more interview here tonight. Probably going to be one of the more intriguing ones since this is the guy up in the top 3 that had the most interesting race. Spencer Todd should be with Sam now.
Yeah, Spence, third place on the night, but it could have been so much better for yourself here tonight.
Hey, thanks, guys. Yeah, just couple of stupid mistakes, self-inflicted. But yeah, if I'm gonna lose it to anybody, one of my teammates, kind of eases the pain a little bit.
Yeah, and let's talk about that spin on lap 13. Just a bit of you're under a lot of pressure from Jacob Mink coming through that hairpin. Just lost it on exit. Was that because of the pressure, or did you just hit the accelerator pedal a bit too early?
Honestly, it was a lap traffic. Not any fault of theirs. It was more my own doing. But yeah, I had to really tighten up the exit because the lap traffic was a little bit slower through there, and then I got on the throttle a little bit too soon, a little bit too much. Thankfully,
Yeah,
nothing detrimental.
yeah. Speaking of traffic, you were mired in a lot of it about midway through the race, and it probably owed to you making a couple of small mistakes there. One was coming out of the corner and just overshooting. That would probably cost you second place. A bit of a difficult time for you after the pit stops happened there. Is it just a bit of fatigue there just setting in, or was the car just feeling a bit uncomfortable at that point?
Honestly, the car was good. The boys at Evolve Sim Sports gave me a real good car. No, I just overshot my braking zone a little bit. Yeah, again, just a mistake on my part. Overshot by about 100 meters. So if I'm gonna overshoot, I guess that's not a horrible spot to overshoot because there's a bit of a runoff there. So yeah, again, it's unfortunate to lose second that way, but.
Yeah, but it wasn't all negatives here tonight. You still come away with a podium here at Long Beach, so not all to be disappointed about. Got to be happy with where you finished despite everything here tonight.
Yeah, I'm happy. I think there's a little bit, to be left to be wanted. I think I could have probably got the win tonight, but third place not bad. Good points haul for Evolve Sim Sports. So playing the long game.
Absolutely, and there's still plenty of races left to go. And looking ahead to the next race, we are in the Wheel and Modifieds as we head to New Hampshire in about 3 weeks' time. What are your thoughts heading into that one as we go back to oval racing?
Well, not an oval guy by craft, but they're a hoot to drive. So I'm looking forward to having some fun and hopefully get a good solid finish there.
All right. And before I let you go and celebrate your third place, anyone you want to give a shout out to, say thanks to at home?
Yeah, thanks to the Esports Broadcasting Network for the great broadcast, as always. So appreciate you guys being here. Also, the Evolve Sim Sports team and the owners, Andrew and Steve, just gave me a real good car tonight. Put a lot of work in with the setups, and I think that showed with our 2-3 finish. And obviously want to thank our sponsors, Tranco Production Machines and Direct Innovations LLC. Wouldn't be here without them. So.
All right. Well, congratulations on the third place here tonight. Probably not where you wanted to finish, but still congratulations anyway. Good job getting on the podium. And we'll see you in about 3 weeks' time when we head to New Hampshire.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
So onwards and upwards from here, Frank, and looking to improve next time around. Spencer Todd, not exactly the happiest, but still happy to get the podium.
Oh, of course, and as he said, self-inflicted mistakes. Those are the ones that are always going to haunt you as the season goes on. It's you look back at a race like this and say, well, if I wouldn't have made one of those mistakes, I could be in a completely different situation as far as the point standings goes for the rest of the season. So looking back at this race, just an incredible night of fun racing. 28 cars around here. Boy, they certainly made it interesting in every single corner tonight.
Yeah, and like I've said it many times here tonight, I love watching these cars on this track, and these guys really put on a show here tonight. Whether it had been with the wrecks we've seen, with the passes we've seen, some of the racing we've seen has just been absolutely incredible. Not to mention the battle between Gamble and Halleck near the end there before Halleck spin. That was just an incredible battle. And the battle between Broomhead and Sherburne at the end there, Broomhead just pipping him by 11 1,000ths of a second at the line. Just incredible fighting around here, and that's what we like to see in these cars.
Yeah, absolutely, and it just goes to show the high level of racing and the high quality of racing that these guys have. Coming up, however, on ESPN for the next couple of days, coming up tomorrow night will be round number 5 of the Rowdy Energy Cup Series season. Those guys will be at Phoenix Raceway starting at 8:20 p.m. Eastern Time. A double dip coming up tomorrow night with the UK Sim Racing MX5 Pro Series. They will be at Bathurst to start up their season, making their debut on ESPN at 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Then the nightcap tomorrow night will be the Western States Racing League. They will be at the Milwaukee Mile at 8:05 p.m. Eastern Time. This will mark the halfway point of season 45 for the Western States Racing League. And then on Wednesday night will be the Sim Racers Edge Alpha Series round number 6 at Homestead Miami Speedway at 8:45 p.m. Eastern Time. And some developments over the course of the last day or so have caused an absolutely massive shakeup in that series. Keep in tuned with ESPN to learn what that was. Then a couple of days off before we go to the series finale for the E-Formula Series. The Dutch Grand Prix at Zandvoort, only a couple of points separating Paul Ilbrink and Lubomir Moric at the top of the standings. See who will be crowned Season 2 champion for the E-Formula 3.5 Series coming up on Saturday at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And then also on Saturday night, round 3 for the Sim Racers Edge Bravo Series. They will be at Silverstone starting at 8:45 as well. So for my broadcast partner, Sam Cooper Bennett, I am Frank Marchese. Thank you very much for making us a part of your evening, and we will see you all tomorrow night for the Rowdy Energy Cup Series at Phoenix. Good night, everybody. All right. What chat? Oh, in Discord. Oh, okay. Yep, it was. See why I moaned when I saw 84 laps? Whatever. It felt like 84. Would it really have made a difference? Boy, I'm glad I didn't pop up Google Chrome like I wanted to. Really? Damn. All right.